Halo Trek Episode 6. This episode will be in text to audio. Captain's log, stardate 7480.3 level 4. The Saxon is to hold position at the gate, waiting for the neutron to arrive. The neutron will have a special payload and crew that will involve additions to the gate system. The role we are to play is yet to be determined. Some of the members on the Saxon of the science community want to do a spacewalk at the gate. I told them that I did not see why not, so I gave them a green light. End of Captain's Level 4 log. This time I chose to position myself in my office on a couch. On the couch I strapped myself down and put the Halo equipment on my head and did my simulating from there. Computer, send me a Halo android to the captain's office. Affirmative, said the computer. After this I exited the Halo as far as vision is concerned so that I could see when the android entered. I thought it would be an interesting experience to remain out of the Halo vision and watch the android position his body onto mine. If only the android had a screen on its chest, I thought, with my face on it. It was decided by me, then and there. Make it so that the androids made for Halo missions were to have this screen and face of the individual linked to the android. My android entered and I watched it approach and lay down on top of me. I used the button control on the Halo on my forehead to enter the simulation view. Now I was seeing through the android's eyes. Computer, give me Halo vision, I want to see the simulation. Affirmative, said the computer. I was immediately in the simulation and I stood up from the couch and walked toward the door. This time I could feel my hand reaching up and I touched my forehead and heard a beep, as the Halo vision turned itself off. I could see the android standing in front of me, facing the door. But I was in what I thought of as human view, not using the eyes of the android. It is a mistake to think that one could remain half in Halo and half out whenever they were seeing from their human eyes. For some reason it just would not work that way. I had gotten so used to the day-to-day use of the system that I forgot one could do this. After this I tapped my forehead and was back in the simulation completely inside the android. My android was possessed by me. I walked onto the bridge. I looked to see Tabitha Green, in the reserved seat for the first officer, next to my captain's chair, to the right. The bridge crew were all present and in their proper positions. I looked at the readout of the view screen which indicated that we were holding at the gate. The energy level seemed low. I walked to my captain's chair and sat down looking to my right. Commander Green, does the energy level look low to you? 65%. My answer would be yes, Captain, it looks a bit low. Certainly hope that the neutron is bringing some energy along. Commander, you have my permission to communicate with Starfleet on this issue if you think it's needed. Aye, aye, Captain, said Green. Communications chime. Lieutenant Commander Roland to Captain over. This is Steinway, go. Myself, Salata and Bledsoe are in the airlock to the shuttle for our little spacewalk we plan to do at the gate, over. You're clear to depart, I said. Aye, Captain, Roland out. Kind of wish I was going with them, I said. You can always stop them, and go, said Commander Green. I could use the Halo system, you ever thought about that one? Need to be a special android for that, sir, one with a rocket assist of some kind, it is possible. I am aware that most androids already have a rocket assist. No, sir, said the commander. They do, however they would need extra stores of energy. It'd probably take approximately 5, maybe 6 mics to put it all together. They've already departed, I said. We will try it some other time. I would guess you could just add the energizers to the back of the android. While we're on the subject of androids, particularly the Halo androids, my idea is to place a screen on the chest of the android that will display the face of the linked person. I want you to get on that and make it so, I said. All in good time, Captain, said Commander Green. Very well, number one. In the meantime, put the main viewer on the spacewalkers, please, I said. I think it was the communications officer that initiated the screen control. We all watched as the 3 members of the crew, 2 science officers and 1 engineering officer, departed toward the Juno gate. The shuttle departed and traveled halfway between our ship and the gate and slowed to a stop. We watched as each individual person exited the shuttle and began moving in the direction of the gate. We watched for about 20 metric minutes. Captain, I would like to get started on that little project with the screen on the chest, said Tabitha. I will go to engineering now, she said, standing and then going towards the door. I watched, and even before she entered the turbo lift, I heard her saying, "Computer, take me to engineering." She disappeared. We were in the simulation and she jumped direct to the engineering section, no doubt, and if I went to the exit view, I would see her android still moving toward the lift. A person in the lift exiting would only see an android. And this is why I wanted the screen. They would see Commander Green's face on her android. Her android would exit the lift, fly down the corridor until it finally reached engineering. And then it would link back with her location. Before the commander had an android linked, she would not be able to do any physical actions. I was bored. Computer, take me to engineering. In the simulation, I was immediately in engineering and watching Tabitha Green interact with people there. Computer, can you make me invisible? Affirmative, replied the computer. I watched as Tabitha Green spun around and did not see me, but she heard my voice. The commander said, "Computer, show me exit Halo view." "You still can't see me, Tabitha," I said, "but you can hear me." "You do realize, Captain, that your android has gotten up and it is flying its way in this direction. Did you think about that?" Darn, she was right. Thanks, Tabitha. Computer, take me to the bridge. I was immediately back on the bridge, and since I was in exit Halo view, I was looking around and there was my android flying back from the lift. I hope it was my android. Once again, if it had a screen on the front, then I would know immediately. I thought about it. We were probably reinventing the wheel here. In this case, we were reinventing how to use androids. Someone else has probably done all of this and figure out all of the bugs. I should probably consult the library on it. If my memory was correct on this, a lot had not been accomplished involving androids on ships simply because of Starfleet's inactivity on the whole thing. Not a lot of it was currently official. We had only recently entered what I thought of as the Halo era. Captains rightly tweaked their own ship systems. Spacewalk team to the Saxon over. This is Steinway, go. Captain, we have made our way back to the shuttle and are now returning to the Saxon over. Understood, over. Sub-Commander Roland out. Sub-Commander. I shook my head. Was that coming back again? So is a lieutenant junior grade now going to be a sub-lieutenant? I had better think this one over, or else it's going to be a thing that sticks. Or thing that stings. A full day later, and then we received a message from the Neutron. The Neutron is due at Janice by 7481.8. It is now 7481.412. So a little more than 300 metric hours or 300 center days. I'm on the bridge and reading an old Earth book about law of attraction. When Sub-Lieutenant Carr blurted out, "Captain, we have a strange signal coming possibly from the gate or in the direction of the asteroid field. There seems to be a pattern to it and it could be an encrypted communications, too early to tell." Let me know when you have more, Sub-Lieutenant. My operations officer looked at me. So, Lieutenant, is that new, sir? I suppose it is, but it's much like Sub-Commander. Oh, said Lieutenant Byram. I looked around and noted that Tabitha Green had not returned to the bridge yet. Computer, give me the location of Commander Green. Commander Green is in body on the bridge. In Halodroid, Commander Green is in engineering. Computer, could you say that again? Did you say in Halo Droid? Affirmative, it is a somewhat new phrase used to describe when a person is inside of a Halo droid, said the computer. I knew she was still working on the project, which was probably coming to some fruition, or she should be. This was regarding the androids having screens on their chests. Computer, take me in Halo to engineering. My location changed to engineering and I was watching Tabitha work on an android, putting the finishing touches on the screen. How's it going, number one? I said. Oh, you came just at the right time. This one's going to be yours as soon as it's done, which is now. You can transfer to it if you want. I will take care of the one located. Well, it's probably on its way to engineering now. Okay, right, I said. Computer, transfer Captain Steinway, in Halo, to the android standing in front of him, said Tabitha Green. I blinked, my location changed to where the android was standing. I was now in Halo Droid, and of course I would have to go outside of Halo Droid simulation to see the screen now. Computer, take me out of Halo Droid vision only. I'm glad I didn't finish that order, because if I had, I would have probably floated somewhere. Outside of Halo Droid, it wasn't much different, but I looked down and I could barely see the screen on my chest. From my viewpoint of the android senses, I would need to find a mirror, I suppose. Instead, I looked in front of me and there was an android standing with the screen on its chest, and the picture on the screen was Commander Green's. Tabitha's pretty face on the android. Nice picture there, Tabitha, I said, indicating this picture on her android. More importantly, I now see rightly, that is your android. This is going to help matters very much, I do believe. Thank you, Captain. It's been quite a chore. Now I can get back to my normal duties, I suppose. This was actually something I should have tasked to Lieutenant Byram, because Byram is ops now, but I'm so used to the ops job. Yes, number one, you are my first officer now. You should be supervising, more doing the job of a first officer after this. Yes, Captain, I know. I just got through saying that, but well, anyway. I'm kind of tired. I need a break, said Tabitha. The Neutron is not due in for quite a while, so let's go to the officer's lounge, for a break. But before I do that, I need to pop back into the bridge for a moment. Computer, take me to the bridge out of Halo Droid. That action is not possible, said the computer. Your body is located in your office. Right, you a computer. Take me to my body, I said. I was now not on the bridge, I was in my office, outside of the simulation, and even though I was strapped to the couch, in my office, I had to wonder, do I still have brain damage? Because it gets me every time. It's natural for a person to think in a simulation that they're in the simulation, even when they're not. Whenever they think of being in the real world, their mind is still working in the simulation. It's hard to make sense of it at times. When I was in Halo back on the engineering section, I was thinking that if I had exited the simulation, that I would have floated up from the android there, when nothing could be further from the truth. The truth is, I would be in my office once again on the couch, strapped down, the very location that I am now. I unstrapped from the couch and floated up and used my hands to navigate in the weightlessness to the door to my office. On the bridge, I floated to the captain's chair and started to strap into it, but instead I stretched and did a few mid-air runs just to get my body circulating. At this point I returned to my office. I strapped back in on the couch once again. I realized suddenly that I was very thirsty and very hungry. Another byproduct of being in Halo for too long. Inside the simulation you may drink a beverage or eat something and it feels real, but it is not. The computer should have notified me, if it was for too long a time, if I was too dehydrated. I had not been notified yet, but my own personal preference at this point was to go find something to drink and eat outside of Halo, where it really mattered. I unstrapped and floated to the food replicator in my office and ordered up a beverage and something to nibble on. So I was back once again in my office chair, with my gravitation boots connected to the floor. Computer, I said, send me my android to my captain's office. Your Halo android is entering the bridge now, said the computer. A short moment later, in floats my android and I get to see my picture on its chest. Hello android, I said. It did not answer back. I finished my meal and said, computer enter Halo droid. This is what Mini referred to as doing Halo magic. I switched locations once again and I was seeing through the eyes of my android, looking at an empty chair behind my desk. Computer, can you do an overlay of out of Halo body view, with the simulation view? Computer said, working. Suddenly I was able to see myself, my body, sitting in my office chair, like a ghost image. I was going to leave that on. Computer, can you make this out of body, in Halo, image overlay permanent, or default? Affirmative Captain Steinway. Overlay image will be default. Now I walked over, in Halo droid, to myself in my chair and tucked myself in. I made sure I was strapped down, then I turned and walked onto the bridge in Halo droid. Another way of saying in Halo, is I'm also inside my android. On the bridge, I could see androids in their positions, as well as the ghosts of people using them. And I had this weird feeling that I had my first officer working on the screens, on androids for no good reason now. No, it would be helpful later on, but I could not wait to see the look on Commander Green's face, whenever I told her about this. At least, we had a workaround, in case we encountered androids without any screens. In my captain's chair I used the shipwide communications. Now hear this, this is the captain speaking. Regarding Halo operations, the following is now very effective. If the computer has not done so, ask the computer to add an overlay of out-of-body, Halo view. It is very effective in allowing one to see where they really are. I thought everyone could get some good use from this. Steinway out. What I did next was very interesting. I went to my office door and left the bridge to Lieutenant Byram. In my office, seeing the Halo image of Ghost Me in my chair. I walked over and using my android, I unstrapped myself and then using the control on my Halo controller, on my head, I deactivated Halo droid link. Having done this, my android was there and I grabbed a hold of his back, where the handles were located for this purpose, and said, android, take me to my quarters. I rode all the way to my quarters and then I was ready for a bit of rest. Captain's log, stardate 748.1.6, I will be off duty when the neutron arrives. I have instructed the appropriate officers that will be on the bridge at that time. Lieutenant Roth took the place of Lieutenant Librick. For that shift, they should be able to handle any transfers and orders. I anticipate no problems. Also note that Lieutenant Lee Brooke asked for a transfer and I've granted her leave to travel back to where she wants to go. She will transfer to the neutron for now. End of Captain's log. I was off duty, but I wanted to try something. I wanted to see if I could use my linked android to transport me, my real body, someplace while I was still in Halo Sim. With the out-of-body overlay, I looked at my ghost. My body. Using my Halo android, I unlatched my straps and managed, in the weightless conditions that my android was in, to position the android over my body and try to latch onto my body, unsuccessfully. Next, I tried a different tack. I managed to attach my body to the android at 4 points, at my ankles and around the neck of the android. Since I was still in control of my android, I took advantage of the overlay and carried my body back to my office. That was a success. I returned to my quarters. I deactivated the Halo Sim and floated to my couch. I looked over at my Halo android and noted that my picture was not on the screen. Personal Halo android, can you operate as a generic android? Asked. Affirmative. What would you like me to do, sir? Said the android. I want you to operate as my personal research droid. I want to research the concept of a Halo exoskeleton android. New research through Starfleet records and see if anything has been accomplished there. Working, said the droid. Working. The X5 is a battle droid exoskeleton. It can operate in Halo. There is a copy in the library. Do you want an X5 replicated in engineering? I grabbed my Halo unit and put it on my head and went into Halo, not even talking to my assistant. I walked out into the corridor and headed for engineering. It was the second shift and I encountered the current representation of the engineering staff. Lieutenant Harold Fort and Ensign Scott were on duty. If you two are not busy, I want you to try something with me, I said. We're going to use an exoskeleton battle droid in Halo. What do you think? An X5? Asked Lieutenant Fort. Exactly. Make me an X5. I will be in the office's lounge. I turned and walked out. I felt silly now. Android, I said, take my body. Transport my body to this location in time for me to eat my meal here. Aye, Captain, said the android. I was in Halo layered overview and I watched my android ghost away from me. Here I sat, all alone as a ghost, in my chair in the office's lounge. No worries, there was my Halo body. Waiter, I said, putting up a hand. I would like, of all things, a stack of pancakes. I know, wrong time of day and we're in outer space, so, no big deal. The waiter returned with my order, however I could do nothing with the pancakes, not having an android. I waved my hand through the pancakes. That's right, later, I'm a ghost. About a metric minute later, I saw in ghost view my Halo android returning with my body. My android sat down in the chair and we were all one again. Android, I said, anchor me to my chair so that I do not float away as I eat my meal. Aye, Captain. It felt good to eat again. I wondered if the computer was on the fritz regarding the Halo meal plan. My hunger pains hit me immediately after leaving Halo. As I ingested my pancakes, I scanned the lounge, seeing at least 2 ghosted individuals. I seen 2 individuals with Halo sets on their head sitting strapped to chairs. Computer, put me back in Halo android. Halo initiated, said the computer. Halo out of body overlay computer. Overlay initiated, said the computer. I stood and walked to the 2 locations where I seen a ghosted body. I checked them over briefly to make sure that everything is okay. It seems all right. One of them was a Lieutenant Farmer, the other one was last name Gray, one was a medic and the other one seemed to be an engineering person. Farmer and Gray, this is Captain Steinway, over. Farmer, here go, this is Gray, go ahead sir captain. I just wanted to remind you guys that whenever you leave your ghosted body in the office's lounge. Let me just say I found your bodies here. This is Gray, I'm on my way, same for me. Steinway out. When they arrived, I discussed briefly my intentions regarding the exoskeleton idea and using them as Halo. They both seem very interested. There's a good chance that will give us exercise while wearing Halo, said Gray. Excellent point, I said. Good timing, Captain Steinway, this is engineering over. This is the captain, go. You can return to engineering and pick up your X5. Roger that, on the way, I said. Engineering out. I looked over at my table and my ghost sitting in the chair. Android, check my body with us as we go to engineering. Me, my android and my body all went to engineering. While in engineering, they strapped on the exoskeleton and wired it up to the Halo helmet. I was all set to go. We transferred my body to the exoskeleton. The one thing that I lost was the view screen on the android, and so a person would not be able to see who I was. I could live with that for now. It felt strange because I could still feel inside the simulation through the senses of my body. The exoskeleton moved my legs for me, and anything I reached for were my actual arms, with the exoskeleton assisting. I was tired and I made my way back to my quarters and found my bed. Computer, exit Halo.
This is the end of this episode. I am Eugene, son of Douglas. Thanks for listening.